Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville is calling on President Biden and President Harris to increase former President Trump's security detail after the second attempt on former President Trump's life.
In the last few days, I don't feel that. I don't feel the need for, hey, a sense of urgency. The Secret Service has to lay the law down to the people here in Congress, say, we got to give help. I hear the Secret Service or the FBI director or the regional director down in South Florida about, you know, he's not the sitting president. We all know that. But he's had 2 assassination attempts. My God, wake up and smell the roses. We've got to do something. Let's don't wait till it's too late. We are not a third world country, and I guarantee you third world countries give better protection to presidents and former presidents than what we do, and that's a shame. So hopefully we get something done in the near future, because we don't need a disaster on our hands, and this is serious, because there's so much love for this president across the country about how hard he works. This administration is responsible for protecting him. That's very unusual when you have a former president having to ask the president administration that he's running against for protection. It's their time to put up and shut up.
That was Senator Tuberville calling for more protection for former President Trump, given the fact that he has now been the subject of not 1, but 2 assassination attempts in a little over 2 months. And we have new revelations from the Secret Service that in the lead up to this second attempt on the former president's life, agents did not search the perimeter of the golf course where the suspect was there for 12 hours. And here is why.
This was an off-the-record movement. It wasn't a site that was on his scheduled, it wasn't part of his schedule. So there was no posting up of it because he wasn't supposed to have gone there in the first place.
But he goes there all the time. The tree line surrounding the golf course has several holes in it. This one that you can see quite clearly here is close to where the suspect was found. The openings are well known to photographers who like to use these spots to snap pictures of the former president on his West Palm Beach course in Florida, where a state-level probe into the attempt was just announced. Let's bring in Chris Swecker, former assistant FBI director. Chris Swecker, always good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining me. You know, what's your reaction to that comment by the acting director of the Secret Service? You know, it wasn't on the schedule, so we didn't do a perimeter sweep.
Yeah, he likes to throw all these technical terms around and the jargon and stuff, but it meant nothing to me, because they knew he was going to play golf. They have a responsibility to protect him. It doesn't matter to me whether it's on the record or off the record. They're the U.S. Secret Service, and they're supposed to protect the president, the former president. And, you know, coming off of Butler, my gosh, they should have had all the resources they needed. And of course, resources don't do you any good if you don't know how to use them. And in this case, all they had to do was have someone walk down the tree line, the fence line. There's only one place the threat could have come from, and that's the fence line or the tree line. You know, there weren't any threats on the golf course itself. The threats were going to come from that off the golf course, but in the immediate vicinity. So, you know, take off the sunglasses, take off the suit, have somebody in plain clothes walking the fence line, both inside and outside the fence line. But, you know, this is not a resource issue, Martha. It never has been. They only have about 40% of their resources devoted to protection. The rest of it is going to investigations. They need to go back to their core mission of protection, because most of those investigations were things that they just wanted to do. It wasn't anything they were mandated to do. So this is a matter of leadership and setting priorities and leading effectively. And I think that's where the buck stops here. I wouldn't put it on any. The agents on the street are trying to do their jobs.
Yeah. You know, I was struck by the fact in the Butler situation, one of the first things that people said, and I believe you were among them, that you have to basically block the sight lines outside of the area so that a shooter can't get a scope view to see the president on the outside area that you're not protected. So if you close off those sight lines, you are obviously improving the security. So I'm wondering, when I look at the aerial map of this area, there's only one line along this public road,
Right.
and you've got this little chain link fence. So I'm wondering why they haven't said after Butler, you know, we know you love to play golf here. He goes here all the time. It's like his favorite local course. So what we're going to do is put a big green, you know, fence across this whole area, and we're going to put whatever on one side of it so that nobody can see you when you're on these holes. Why wasn't that done? It seems fairly simple.
Yeah, it does seem like common sense, and that's a big aspect of their job, and any federal agent's job. And you know, they don't seem to think that their responsibility extends beyond close-in protection. It seems to me. They want to delegate anything outside the immediate vicinity of the president or the protectee to local law enforcement or someone else, or they just don't do it at all. So I see just a general reluctance for them to kind of roll up their sleeves and do gumshoe trench work. You know, get on the tree line,
Right.
think strategically ahead of time, think like a bad guy, and figure out where the threats are going to come from. Because in this case, logically, it only comes from the tree line.
Yeah. And two unsuccessful attempts that very easily could have been successful given these scenarios. They got very, very lucky both times in these situations. Chris Swecker, thank you so much. Always good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Dangerous environment that is out there.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.